mic's on. Hey, what are you doing?
We're
Live from Prump.
Let's do this.
Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, show number 199. You'd think.
Is it really?
Yeah, 109. You'd think after 199 times, somebody in this operation would have it all together. And it sure isn't me. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining in.
Hello, everybody. Jimmy Tyler here.
Yeah, so we got another Jimmy. Now, so when you say Jimmy, I have somebody to answer the questions. Yeah. Thank God. And over there pushing the buttons, Logan Tyler.
Yep.
You got the Tylers back out in Prump. They came out here. Logan, how did the drive down the driveway go?
Oh, it was super good.
I don't have my tractor here, so I can't fix that, you know. So I'll see you in about a week with the shovel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So we had a little rain. We had a hurricane. A little hurricane blew through. So wet dirt today. That's maybe I'm going to use that as my excuse for being underprepared the whole time. Because I went riding today. I went and saw a river that's normally dry that's very wet. So I tried to ride down to Dumont, and the Armagosa River is flowing.
You can't get there, huh?
I probably could have, but I was riding a bike. I was kind of checking out a thing on a bike, and it was making a ticky noise. And here's an interesting thing. So I'm really always I knew it. It says right on the bike. It says tick. You know, there's a sticker on it that says tick. and
Need to put a sticker above it that says ignore?
No, it didn't say ignore tick. So it just says tick, and I'm not really sure where it's coming from. I kind of have an idea, but not exactly, because if I had the idea, I'd go fix it. Like, I'll just go ride it and whatever. So I'm wandering around like all by myself out in the middle of nowhere. At least I got my tracker on. All the roads are closed, by the way. Like you cannot get there. You would have to go the way that I rode, literally down this wash called Sperry Wash, which is completely washed out.
I bet.
It's butter. No more UTV bumps or anything. It's all just, there's water still coming up out of the ground and all that stuff. So I get to the point where the Sperry Wash interjects with the Armagosa River, and it's actually down about 4 feet. I mean, it's just kind of like there's a drop because Sperry Wash rarely flows, and then the Armagosa does in the winter, and it'll make a cut. And so when you're riding up to it, and there's trees and bushes and stuff, and I'm riding up to it, and I go, oh boy, that tick just got worse. It literally, it was like this isn't good, and I'm really a long ways away. So I just shut the bike down, and the tick didn't go away. It was the freaking river and the rocks.
Because they're freshly.
Yeah, rocks clacking in the river.
Oh, that's good.
As we as it rolled down. So, anyways, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining the show. Good to see everybody. Brenda's getting ready to go ride some Hero Dirt tomorrow. It was Hero Dirt, and it could have been like Death Dirt because it was places where it was dusty, and then you would hit like a mud bog, kind of like we did in my driveway.
Yeah.
It's all good until it's not, and then you're literally like you feel the front end going in, and by the time you feel the front end going on, you get on it, and the rear end's in that same putty because it's just saturated in certain spots, and it just hasn't had time to soak in. So, pretty good thing. Oh, I know what I wanted to do because I'm an influencer.
There you go.
I get stuff sent to me all the time. You want to go through this because you know how everybody likes sending me products, and I'm going to do an opening on the show. I'm going to do a box opening. It came during the rain. I
can see it.
It's products. This is gonna be the best product. It's from one of the companies that I love. So I'm gonna open it up here so everybody can watch me open it on the show because that's so cool when I open a box. It's the best motorcycle parts ever, right? Oh yeah, this is I get so much stuff I don't even know who it's from. Hold on, let's look in the box what we got.
A lot of stuff on the internet I don't get. Opening boxes.
Oh yeah, you open. Well, I'm trying to get ratings. Remember we used to do this, Logan?
Yeah, I remember.
Try to get Logan. It's
a lint roller.
A lint roller? No, it's got to be for a motorcycle. It's it goes on the handlebars probably, and it makes it better. So it's. I should get my promo code. The promo code? Does anybody have the promo code?
That thing looks like.
You sure this don't go to a
saved
swimming
your
pool?
Grindr's account.
You're getting close.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's not it. I just want to be like everybody else on the internet and get like
Yeah.
10,000 views. It's a filter. It's a sediment filter for a water system thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a water system I'm working on that has way too much sediment in it. But yeah, no, I'm not like everybody else on the internet. Promo code. If you want to support the show, we do actually have sponsors, believe it or not. And I didn't go over to the printer. Maybe Jimmy can Jimmy can run over to the printer. Don't trip on that cable over there that I did. You'll shut the whole show down.
Right.
And remember to take the headphones off. The printer, I printed out all of the stuff, but I can really list off our sponsors mostly by heart because they've been with us for so long. Of course, it's Yamaha, Moto, bringing you the Rooster Endo segment. I think we are looking for Rooster Endo submissions. Email matt@jimmylewisoffroad.com. Scott Sports. Well, my product of the week is definitely Scott Sports. It's in my hand right now. It's in a box, too. I'm going to open it on the show later, so get used to it, okay? Climb. I'm wearing a Climb hat, and I wear Climb gear today, and that's why I'm happy and comfortable when I ride. DDC, our original sponsor for the show, Delaney Drive Components. They make chain wheels that don't wear out. So I wasn't worried about my chain and sprocket today when I was riding in that goopy stuff. Trail Tech, Voyager Pro. And I had a Trail Tech fan on my bike today, and for some reason I used it. I needed one on the Husaberg I rode this weekend. We'll talk about that later. Fasst Company. I rode with flex handlebars today, so my wrists are just so buttery good today. Seat Concepts, and the reason I took the Tiki bike. So there's the Tiki bike and the other Tiki bike, 2 bikes. This one, it actually had the sticker that said Tick, and the other one I know ticks, but it's just because it's tire. I took it because it had a Seat Concept seat on it. I'm not kidding. It had the comfort comfort seat on it, and I love that thing. Bulletproof Designs. So my buddy Dave, I rode with Dave this weekend. He rode his brand new KTM 300 that he has bulletproof design protection on, and it was the same bike he rode last year when we rode in Idaho. And because he has the gold bulletproof stuff on it. You know what's really cool about the gold stuff is you can see where you smack that thing because because when you hit rocks with the rear disc guard or something gets hit on it pretty good, it leaves a mark. And I was looking, I'm like, hey Dave, you really use that shark fin. So Bulletproof Designs making really good protection for all of your bikes, and of course double take mirrors. That's why I'm so clean shaven, especially the back of my neck, because I use that double take mirror. It comes right off the motorcycle, so you can shave out on the trail if you want to, if that's what you're into. So okay, we're gonna get right into our questions and stuff. Brenda says, thanks so much for the tip of my levers. I did your modification and took a little meat off the front of the levers, and it works great now. What do you know?
Hey.
So I just basically explained to her how the mechanism that pushes on the piston, if you if you need to make them closer to the bars, because sometimes the adjustment, you pick it all the way out and it's still a little bit far out. Well, you can just take a little bit off there, and good job. I'm glad something I said finally worked.
Boom.
Yeah, because all the times I tell people to twist the throttle farther if they want more power, that doesn't work. It leads to bad things. So, you in a good mood, Jimmy?
I am. I'm always in a
How
good mood.
was go-karts at the Gene Woods Racing
Oh,
Experience?
super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a going away, a go away. We'll call it a go away party for
Friend of the school.
friend of ours, friend of the school's, and so we went to the Gene Woods Racing Experience. I'm trying to get remember we ran into the guy in the street that was trying to get us to go back.
Yeah.
He was trying to give us the $5 off card.
Yeah.
So that's a thing in Vegas. The street guys are trying to send you to these places.
Sign guys.
And I said, Gene, do you have that digitally? Like, could you get me that? And so if any of our, people that are watching the show or whatever, transients coming through Vegas or people in Vegas that want to go do this, I can get them a little discount card. I'm not trying to I'll try to pay for my free laps by getting people to go down there. Because, man, those things have no power.
That was some of the. It was not what I expected, man. It was.
Yeah.
It was driving, like I've always said, when you want a good racing, take away horsepower.
Right.
You know?
I think ours might have been tuned up just a little bit. We might have got a little bit
Yeah,
more
they
than
give him a little extra Wi-Fi or something he sent out there. And I had some guys who know, our buddy Link, he was listening. His motor was not stock.
No.
His, you could hear that.
You notice,
you hear it?
Yeah. He didn't pull into, and he
No,
might
no,
have,
his came out of somewhere else.
Yeah, he didn't pull into the corral like we did. He parked it back behind a pillar over there.
Yeah, his stuck to 220 or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the funny thing is no traction. It's
traction.
It's full drift karting. It's super cool.
It's Mario Kart.
Yeah, I talked about this after we went to the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which is at that facility. You can, when you go in there, if you're into motorcycles, and you will see the heroes of heroes up there. And
really cool store to stop by.
Yeah, I don't know how I got in there.
It's like the only thing normal down there, really.
Oh,
on Fremont Street.
Right. Yeah, we really wanted to go see the Kick Me in the Nuts guy.
Yeah. Never found him.
No, he took Monday night off.
Stuff,
Yeah. Lucky Logan's, immune to some of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's some life lessons walking around down there, Logan.
What?
Yeah. That's exactly what he said when he walked by the nun who was in the wheelchair that had her knockers hanging out.
Yeah.
So, okay. Mark Daniels had to go get some tacos for Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Good on you. In getting past him. What are we talking about? I missed Bill O'Neill's thing. What did he comment on there? I'm not really sure. Anyways, thanks to our sponsors for hooking us up on this show, helping us stay afloat here. Of course, you can click through our Rocky Mountain and Amazon links on dirtbiketest.com. Go there, and when you do your shopping, and we get a little chunk of that, it helps pay for Logan to come back and fill in the hole he dug in my driveway. So, holy knockers, that's Victor. That's what those were. They did have one. There was one just Mickey Mouse. Somebody was dressed up as just Mickey Mouse in one of those circles. You probably missed it.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
It was just Mickey Mouse.
In a G-string Mickey Mouse?
No, that's the thing. It was just completely, totally
that
standard.
Make sense to me then.
like one for the kids. But I said, Logan, I bet you you throw Mickey a couple bucks and.
Yes.
There's going to be a surprise.
Something's going on there. Yeah, the nun turned out to be a dude.
So
after she stood up.
Oh well, no, that was a different one.
Oh,
there's a lot of nuns.
Well, yeah, it was weird.
I'm pretty
the
sure.
One with the mask
I'm
on,
pretty sure that in Vegas, the churches and the strip clubs are closed on Monday, and since that's what everybody likes to do, I mean, strip or go to church, they really like it. And they can't go on Monday. They just go. They just go out to the Fremont Street and stand around.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, stand around and do what they would do ordinarily. They love their job so much.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So okay, are we gonna have a Rooster Endo set up later?
That's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, Logan's cranking around. We see mouses moving, all kinds of stuff going on here. This show is very professional. At 199 episodes, I was actually thinking, Jimmy, I was thinking that I should come up with an actual real format for this show, starting with show 200. Like have some real,
like time to switch it up.
Yeah, kind of segments. Where you actually do something. Get like a real show where you have like an intro music thing.
I thought we did that somewhere around 100 though.
Well, I was going to do it at 100, I think. Actually, I was going to do it at 50. I think 50 we moved it inside. No, we were still someplace else, or we did it right there.
No, 50 we're doing it.
Still there.
Early, like 10.
Because this is Logan's summer learn how to use a chop saw project behind us.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. Logan, go get some wood and stick it on the wall. And then so that was when was this?
This wall?
Yeah.
I think it was like 98. I think that was
right before 100. We were gonna have a whole new studio thing by 100. So maybe we'll do that. So got a couple questions up on the chat. So if you want to ask questions, this is what we're here for. You basically just put them in the chat, and they pop up on a screen in front of us. We get to see them. And the question is, Motion Pro fork bleeders with water and dirt getting past them. That's not a question. That's a statement. And I think it has something to do with. I'd have to scroll back to see. Oh, Bill's on a different platform. I don't see him on this particular one here. You need to send me.
I wonder how he knows it's getting past them.
You need to send me that
when he
link.
Pulls his fork apart.
What do you think about the Motion Pro Quick Fork Bleeders? I got them and love the convenience, but I feel like they might let water in. What are you pushing on them when your bike's underwater?
No, yeah, they won't go past
No,
those.
I've never. They generally 99% of the time they're pushing air out. It's built up inside the fork, and so it's not gonna. It's really rare that they suck in, Bill. So
if they loose, they might.
If they're loose,
yeah.
How would they? They would if they're loose.
Oh, meaning like the slot. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they squirt. Then oil's always kind of you would know it right away if they're loose. Sometimes they interfere with some of the adjusters, and there's different reasons to make them work and not work. But I've never had a problem with any contaminants getting in to them when using them. And I used to, there were certain forks that I used to run like negative air pressure. I'd actually squeeze it down, push the fork down, and blow some air out of it, which is really hard to do with the screws. So no, I've never had any problem with dirt getting in. And Jason Nadler has a question. What is it? Who's gonna, Jimmy or Logan?
I'll read it.
Yeah,
Two-stroke question. On long downhills, is it true that engine braking can cause damage? Is it good practice to blip the throttle often?
So that's a really good question. I mean,
yeah, get a TPI, man.
Why would a TPI do something different than?
I assume the computer would notice it. All the RPMs.
Yeah, but it's even if it's a carburetor, you're going to be sucking that air, and it's going to be pushing stuff through the air jet, and which is a bleed jet, and the pilot jet's always going to be. Even the main jet draws a little bit at zero.
Yeah,
it
does
zero
draw
throttle.
a little bit, but it's got a lot of RPMs for a little bit of gas.
Yeah, engine braking. So a two-stroke really doesn't have much engine braking. But you're saying if you're like downshifting and letting the engine slow the bike, would that RPM hurt it?
I think what he's saying is it's turning a lot of RPMs just coasting down the hill.
Yeah.
Using clutch out.
Yeah.
A lot of RPMs with very little fuel to oil the bottom of the motor.
Yeah, but there's
and I've heard this too.
And
I've never had one go bad doing it, but
no,
I've heard of it.
I haven't either. I'll tell.
I mean, but how long of a hill can you get that you really choose?
There's places where you're going, 5 and 6 miles down a hill. It's consistent and things like this. But no, I don't think that.
You think it gets enough oil and fuel to lube the bottom end?
Have you ever? I always tell people this. Have you ever tried to clean oil off of parts?
Yeah.
I mean, you use a lot of contact cleaner to clean the oil off of the parts, and so they're in a constant state of being, we'll call it wet.
Yeah.
And since when you're going downhill, it's not like a high load. There's not a lot of combustion going on in there.
Not a lot of.
So there's that heat and that stuff which would compromise the lubrication. Mm-hmm. The heat and really there's not a lot of force on it. I mean, it's kind of like just the weight of the bike. So let's say it takes 1 or 2 horsepower to coast, which is kind of what the bike is doing. And it's doing it's pushing, but once you get on, you put 7, 8, 10, 20, 30 horsepower through that motor. It's a different kind of a load on those parts.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got the RPMs but very little load.
Yeah.
So
that
oil is just kind of
I've never think, is it good practice to blip the throttle often? So what type of bike is he on? I'd like to know specifically what he's on so I didn't see the.
Let's say a YZ250.
Scroll it down a little bit. Did you email me that link through the link for the?
Same.
It's always the same.
Yeah.
Really? This is news to me, but okay, I'll find it somehow. So Jason, see if we'll see if he pops up the thing there, and we'll get in. Is it good practice to blip the throttle often? I don't
give it more oil in the bottom end.
Yeah, I don't think it could hurt.
Definitely won't.
But right when you blip it, this is the funny thing, is right when you blip it, it goes lean for a second. So if you're borderline and you blip it, You know, this is the funny thing about like
Yeah, so
when
I didn't know that they went.
in the desert when they taught me to shut the throttle off, they're like slam it down, like don't roll it down.
Don't roll down.
And then when you come back on, like roll it on. You know, because if we were having problems seizing bikes, and there was all these different bits of advice that were given to me from a lot of different people and a lot of different things, and basically it just came down to just make sure your bike's jetted right and you're running good oil, and you know, you're running the proper oil gas ratio and stuff like that, and thing. Joshua L. Arney wants to know,
Did you make the AT7 suspension install video? Any update on performance?
no, I didn't do an install yet. Did I do a video when I installed it? I don't remember. I remember taking some pictures because it's real easy to get the stock shock out. The stock shock, you can just you just disconnect it from the linkage and move the pull arms out of the way, and it'll drop out the bottom. But the swing arm has to be up, like level. It can't be hanging down. So you have to make sure that the bike is suspended in the swing arm. You're able to lift the swing arm up. But with the TourTech shock that I got, I had to run it in. I had to take the mud flap off and run it in from behind and put it up in that way. And I was able to do it with the wheel on, which is actually pretty nice. I mean, so there's a lot of room inside of there. So no install video yet. That's my next one, but I actually have to go ride the bike I've only got a day or so on it to assess the suspension. And I kind of wanted to break it in before I started playing with it, but it was pretty good. Like right off the bat, it has better bottoming resistance. And I thought it was going to be really soft because it's TourTech and they're more on-road focused. A lot of the development was done over in Europe, not here. And so I was kind of they wanted me to try it to see what I thought, and like I said, it came pretty good. And I think the only thing I want to do right now is start slowing the rebound on the rear down a little bit, because it just felt like it was kind of a little unbalanced, or maybe open the rebound up in the front, but I haven't got that far. So that's where I'm at with that. And Brenda says no go on the fork bleeders for them. I think they have bikes with the big giant preload adjuster on top. I think they're KTM's.
Who is she?
She has she sent in a whole bunch of old KTM's for Rooster Endos, like 99s, 97, 99s, and somehow the infectious disease of wanting a new bike affected her, and they got new KTM 300 TPI bikes, and they might have got factory editions or whatever they call those things. 6 days.
6 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good for her and them. Us.
Yeah, all of us. What's the next question?
How was the Cove 450 from Victor?
Victor.
What is that thing? I saw you riding it. I don't know what a Cove is.
Okay, I did a whole video on that. Whole long 21-minute video where I tell you exactly how it is.
Oh.
So how was it? Surprising.
Good?
Very surprising. Like the stuff that I expected to have issues with, which was durability and things like that, nothing. It ran like a tank. Yeah, it was good. So yeah, check out the video. And we did a whole video after the video to answer the questions from the people in the video. So if you want to check it out, just go to YouTube and go to Dirt Bike Test and Cove 450. I think they're both up there. One is a live show, kind of like Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So you'd have to type in Cove question and answer, and then we answer all the questions. But I would watch the first video first because we explain everything. Yeah. Beam Echo says,
I think he's talking about fork bleeders. But,
right.
Yeah. Maybe if you blast them with a pressure washer.
I'm now really curious about this because I'm thinking about where the hole is, the actual hole on it, and I don't think it's like right at the surface.
I don't think so either. I think it's way down there.
It's like it would be tough to get. It would be tough.
I like them. I've used them. Always used them. I don't have a problem with them.
Yeah. And Utah Desert Racer is a blipper on the downhills. So that's always
how you can go wrong with it.
Always safe. And then the forks specifically. So on the forks, all I did was change out the fork springs. It came on the Tenere 700. We're back to this. This is the interesting thing about these questions is it's like it's like 3 or 4 discussions going on at once.
Yeah.
You have to. It's like kids at school with cell phones. Did they lock your cell phone up at school yet, Logan? No.
Ever been around a campfire? That's kind of how it goes too,
Yeah, that's what this show's like. It's like like campfire talk. So with the forks, all I did was I didn't even take the forks off the bike to drop the springs in there, and the fork kit came with oil, and I think it's a little bit heavier weight oil. But when I pulled the forks out, I noticed that the oil was pretty clean. And so I just went ahead, when I pulled the springs out, I just went ahead and dropped the new springs in, because new springs they can dirty up oil a little bit sometimes. So I just went ahead and dropped them in. I was going to ride it like that, and then I was actually going to pull the forks off and then do all the oil measurement. I'm going to measure the oil that was in there to find out what their height was. I'm going to measure the oil when I put it back in. Basically do a service on the fork. So that's why I haven't commented on it, because it's not set up exactly the way it is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shane Monreal.
The question is old as time, yet I still argue with people about it. I assume he's talking about the blip on the 2-stroke, maybe?
Yeah, was that?
I have no clue.
What's Trevor got?
Yeah, what does Trevor say? I need to get that. I need to get that link back up.
Can you make me a good enough rider to win Vegas Arena next year?
Well, you won it this year, evidently.
He did?
Yeah, but they won it. They won it because.
Thought he got second.
Because I think this is. Maybe we'll have to call him and find out. But from what I understand, and I don't like to talk about racing on the show at all, unless it involves. I don't really even like to talk about my racing that much, because I raced Vegas Arena. Did I ever tell you Vegas Arena? Yeah, I got second, kind of like what Trevor finished second also in this race. But since basically they have mini bike dads, everybody has mini bike dads, and mini bike dads like start protesting. I'm just going on secondhand information here, because I read the internets. And the mini bike dads, well, evidently there was like a mini bike dad that was the rider record on the team that beat him, but he never actually got on the bike.
Danny Cooper. I know him.
Okay. Oh, you knew who it was. Okay. So anyways, so a guy who didn't get on the bike, his team won, but since he didn't get on the bike, they got protested. And then I guess there was a speed zone that no one knew about, and then they started arguing about speed zones, and there was some penalties dish out, and Trevor ended up winning. So he's the best rider. I don't even need to make you a better rider, because I think you're fine, even though you're 2 years out from being where you should be with training and everything. But they actually put something on their bike that they didn't test, and their bike ran like crap for the first half. And then one of the mini bike dad mechanics worked on the bike at a pit stop and jacked it up. Like did a brake pad thing, did something with the brake pads. So they were riding a wounded elephant for a good part of their thing. And then when it started working, then they made 10 minutes back up and almost won it for real. So hopefully that answers that. Can I make him a better rider? Yeah, come out. You got to come out and start doing the work. You can't just. He asks me usually like a day before the race. He's like, "Hey, can you help me with my riding?" And I'm like, "For next year or the year after?" He's like, "Oh, yeah." What does Shane want to know?
Oh, he's got a 02 YZ 250. I think I guessed that. 91 fuel, Maxima 927 premix. Oh, what would you premix it at? No, you shouldn't ask him that.
40 to. I do.
I've seen you a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
It's always usually a little bit of the exact same stuff, I mean, or it's.
I mean a little bit of gas, a little bit of oil.
Yeah. The 40 to 1's
40 to 1,
pretty good on the older bikes.
927,
but 927's that's the caster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it the synthetic? 927 is the
old bean oil.
It's the caster. Yeah.
Yeah.
40 to 1 is fine. I mean, it really, and also Shane, it really depends on how you ride it. Like if you're lugging the stuff around and just cruising, then you can go 60 to 1. If you're sending it, 32 to 1 would be the most I would ever do, especially with the bean oil. But yeah, try that.
Oh, Brenda just got regular 300s, I guess.
Okay. Oh, his
non-TPI?
Yeah. So no, they're TPIs. Yeah. So I'm trying to find the link. I know I have it here someplace. I never know. I can't keep track of this stuff. And I just lost it. What is Josh? What do you think of running? What? A new rear and just progressive springs, not cartridges. Up grunt, front. I don't have cartridges. I mean, well, yeah, I don't have cartridges. It's an open cartridge fork, right? Is it?
Tenere? Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, I'm trying to think that whether it was. I think it's an open cartridge fork. I really do. Because like I said, I didn't open it up and stuff like that, but it acted like an open, spring on top, just the push rod. Because I just disconnected the cap and threw it on there. I didn't even look at it, but it's not like a big cartridge in there. It's. I honestly think that you can just spring that bike. Just put just springs on the Tenere and you'd be fine. The Touratech shock has high and low speed compression, so that's just an added tunability that I think will be really good. Or he says,
or should a guy just spend the money for full front and rear? I don't think the front is that too bad. Rear has to go.
I don't think that the rear is that bad. I mean, I rode all the way back from Washington with 128 pounds of crap on my bike with the stock rear shock, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, yeah, there's a couple times it bottomed, but I fully expected it to bottom. But a spring would have helped that a ton, and I'm pretty sure someone could go in there and valve it, but I think the Touratech's just a one-stop option to throw it in there. And now we're now back to the gas. Okay,
Yeah.
it's going Tenere.
Tenere suspension, gas.
Tenere suspension,
fork
gas.
bleeder. Little
Okay.
splash of fork bleeder here and there.
Read the question.
Jimmy, race gas versus pump gas. My old 07 CR250R. Race gas made a difference. My new Beta 300, I tried it once, didn't seem to feel any different than pump gas. Any thoughts? Twist the throttle more, maybe?
So, no, doesn't matter, Utah, because we're going back and forth because that's the way the questions come in, because there's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
And we answer them, and then they kind
Sure.
of pop back in. So what do you say? What do you say about the race gas?
On the new Beta 300, I kind of semi got one of those actually, and I wouldn't bother with it. Right? They got good modern ignitions and stuff like that where I don't see any advantage to it. It costs more money to get.
So
Doesn't sit as well, collects water easier, some kind of things like that.
Are you racing? I mean, do you need the
Yeah,
10? Do you need the 10/10ths out of it at that point? So, I kind of believe that when in the old days for sure, you could feel a difference with race gas, and on the older ones that, like, I would call it like we'll call it digital ignitions.
That's what I was saying. The modern ignitions kind of.
The modern ignitions seem like they're able to tune it better, and they can get that kind of snap that the race gas used to give you. And I always kind of felt it was tingy and it make them hit harder, and I didn't necessarily like it. So I was never a big race gas fan, and even in four strokes, a lot of times it made them feel flat before they really made power. Like it gave them kind of this, they'd have hit, and they go flat, and then they make power on a lot of the bikes that were, even set up to run race gas. When you put race gas in a stock motorcycle, I feel like you're just throwing away money.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
And then like you said, and I think there's a great comment. Yeah, it does collect water easier. It doesn't last. It can eat up the gaskets. I mean, manufacturers test with pump gas for a reason, because that's what they expect you to put in there. So when you start putting this other weird stuff in certain things, that there's other catastrophic effects. Okay, next.
I don't.
For high compression,
That's a different story.
yeah, then all of a sudden, yeah, you're starting, and that's when you might start needing it. When you start running more compression, you would definitely
super minis and things like that are kind of bored out and on the edge is probably not a bad idea, right?
It doesn't. It usually doesn't hurt.
You
Yeah.
know, they're on the edge of running hot maybe because they really weren't designed to be a big bore, etc.
Yeah, we when I was doing stuff with 125s, I was playing around with race gas and and then when I was racing KTM's, I was sponsored by F&L Race Fuel, and so I got basically a 55-gallon drum every month, which I could burn through pretty quick. So my practice bikes were always pump gas, and then on the weekends we would run the race gas in the race bike. But I had to jet it for it, and it was like kind of like, oh, this is a pain in the ass, you know. But the one thing with the F&L, because I used to use like it was trick race gas, and then and I never really did much with VP when I was racing. I was kind of done when VP started coming around, but there was inconsistencies in some of these other brands, and now like especially with VP, there's 10 different kinds.
Oh yeah.
And like which, and they make some that's, specific. It's like, oh, this is the 125 stuff. It's, people
stuff and...
know this, but I think it's I don't know. There's probably a lot better ways to, I think there's probably, well, it's really, what are you trying to get? I mean, it's like, what are we doing it for, trying to, like, how when you change your oil too much in your motorcycle, it makes you feel good about it? I think.
I don't know. I never do that.
You know, I don't know. Sometimes I change my oil and it makes. I wonder if I can feel it, and I can't really feel it. It makes you feel better. I mean, if it makes you feel better, that's okay. Race gas smells cool. That's what it says.
Especially with that 927, man. There's a combo.
Yeah.
Race gas with 927, oh baby.
Yep, it could do that. So hey, Logan, I finally got the chat thing up here. Doing pretty good now. Feel like a professional. Change the oil. What the fuck is that?
I'm with you there, Victor.
That's good for you.
I'm kidding. I'm not that way.
Okay. Let's go to our sheet again. I'd like to thank our sponsors one more time. Fasst Company, flex handlebars, made in the United States. I run them. You run them?
I do.
Yep.
In fact, I got a kind of good question about those.
Okay, good. What's the question?
It's not necessarily about those, but...
It's the Fasst Company flex handlebars. Question from Jimmy.
So this weekend, when I was out enjoying some wet dirt, man, the limiting factor on my riding has become my eyes real suddenly. Everything at about 30 miles an hour, almost no matter what I'm on, just kind of goes fuzzy, which not the bike's fault. So I tried a bunch of things to kind of see where I would be like riding on my heels, like the very edge of my toes, just to testing, not like... And then I kind of got like I just put like about 50, almost all the weight I could on my handlebars. And, this is not a good way to ride. You'd wear out fast. But I'm like, oh, that was where my eyes kind of got the best, and it went away. So I'm thinking about, I'm going to get them anyway, no matter what the hell you say. But I'm going to get some of their pegs. Because I was like, I got up on the fast bar and on the handlebars.
So
and I'm
you
like,
were...
My eyes just shake. It's like the suspension's worn out in my eyes. I don't know any other way to say it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like everything just goes to a blur at about 30 miles an hour just on a gravel road. Not chop, whoops, nothing. Just 35-ish.
Huh.
It kind of sucks. So.
And this is on which bike?
I'm on my new Beta 390.
390. And it doesn't necessarily vibrate.
No, it doesn't. No,
Yeah.
Not excessive. And it's not really a vibration thing. And I don't think it is. Because I would try sit in the seat and you bite the seat, all that.
But if you went up and you put
if I just got
put weight on the handlebars,
essentially got my feet as light as they could,
which is the worst thing you can do for your motorcycle handling.
Sure. Yeah. No, this is, but then essentially got like maybe.
I wonder.
Just got my feet as light as I could.
I wonder if in doing that it tightened some muscles.
Oh, maybe
on your neck, or did something a little bit.
I mean, I'm going to go see an eye doctor and see if
bit
I'm not going to get anywhere with that. They're not giving me fresh eyeballs.
Oh, you know what they're going to tell you? Here, hold on. Let me, Jimmy, I'm looking and everything looks pretty normal, but this motorcycle problem, I know how to make it go away. You should just stop riding.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to try some fast pegs instead. So I think I'm going to try that. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
It's my eyes are taking a lot of the fun out of riding right now. So.
And Fasst Company is a sponsor of this show. They make the Impact foot pegs that have an elastomer damper around there. and I have them on my Tenere, and they're good. I mean, I just like them as foot pegs. As far as the vibration dampening and stuff, I don't know if I'm 100% there with that. I think for sure, just like the handlebars, it has to take some of the impact, like the impact away, and maybe, you know, like all you have to do is take the handlebars and just do like a fist drop on the bars, and when you do that and you do it at a regular bar and you do that, you feel the difference. And I would suspect you do the same thing, but I always say that your boot has an insole and stuff in it also, and so and I don't know that if since the boot's kind of clasping against your thigh, your calf, I mean, and it's squeezing your calf, if the vibration kind of isn't sucked out by the insole, you know, it actually transmits through, or those impacts or whatever is moving it. So that'd be real interesting to see if that helps. If that helps, yeah.
I can't think of much else to try to do it. I can't ride on my handlebars. So.
No, I wouldn't do that.
It's kind of the only thing I could think of. If you could think of something else to try, I'll probably try it. But.
Yeah, I would definitely try that. I mean, that's the logical solution for that. Yeah, Fasst Company Impact foot pegs, bulletproof designs, double take mirrors, Trail Tech, DDC, Climb, Scott Sports, Taco Moto, and Yamaha, all bringing you Tech Talk Taco Tuesday night. Thanks for doing that. We like our sponsors. Next question. We're gonna go to here.
Are we doing these?
Oh yeah, there's some questions. Okay. These are some of them are good. I got 2 emails that were pretty good, and I wanted to respond, and I'm like, nope, I'm saving that for the show.
Okay, that fortunate guy did a video saying you should rev the engine, and I always hear you saying you should lug the engine. Who's right, Hank?
Fortnine guy.
Fortnite.
So he does.
I never heard of him.
So he does in a very Top Gear style. He does these. He's a Canadian kid, and he does these videos where sometimes he tests a bike, or he doesn't really test a bike. He just kind of goes off on a tangent, and he reached out to me once and wanted to get a photo that I had. I had a photo of some KTM stuff, some direct injection KTM stuff, and he was obviously working on something. And I said, yeah, I can get you the photo, but I'd like to get some credit for it. And he goes, no, he wouldn't give us dirt bike test or anything. No credit for it. No, he just wanted to just.
Yeah, mine.
I'm like, oh, then you can buy the photo. Like, okay, then we can sell you the photo, and you can have the rights to use it. And but anyhow, so that's how I found out who he was or what he was doing. And then I guess when the Tenere came out, he was, because he's and I watched this video that the one that they're talking about, because I had to go watch it so I could comment on it. He's a physicist. I think somebody else around here used to be a physicist or wants to be a physicist or something. Not impressed with physicists, because like they I don't know. So
they think too much.
Anyhow, so he was the one talking about like the countershaft position and the swing arm was the cause of the Tenere's handling stuff, and it was like, no, that was just because that's the way it was. It wasn't. I talked to some engineers from Yamaha about that, and it was like, that was the only way we could do it, because it's not common, the countershaft to swing arm position. But he said that was the reason for the traction control, handling, feel. I don't remember what it was, but it was like, again, somebody who thinks too much and doesn't actually apply. So his thing here is he's on like an old Suzuki, kind of like a Yamaha Fat Cat, but the Suzuki used to make the one that was a 2-stroke.
Really?
And it revved like 3,000 RPM. So it just went blah. And so he does this whole thing about how it's better to rev your motor, because then the torques, the torque isn't so strong on parts. Like the RPM, the spinning, the higher RPM is going to make your engine last longer, and
because everything's already moving, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's not like lugging or chugging, and it's. He was talking about how he went in. He's a smart guy. He's educated, and he does entertaining videos. And he talked about how, like, at what temperature carbon melts off the top of a piston, and these different things that were definitely a plus for RPM. But he basically saying, yeah, rev your bike. And I watched that and I go, you obviously haven't watched your customer ride their motorcycle. And maybe on the street, I'll agree with him to a certain extent. Because the street, you have 100% traction and all this stuff like this. But for off-road, and the reason I talk about lugging and the reason that I am right and he is wrong is that you don't need that much power. The RPM, and if you say, well, and then RPM tends to also make the vehicle go faster. And most people aren't ready to go that speed, even on the road, by the way.
Yeah,
Sure. And so the reason I say lug and control the bike is, trust me, these bikes are designed to handle those kind of lugging loads. Yeah. And as long as you're not lugging it so low that it's just going to completely stall, and I promise you, we'll get to my Husaberg later. I promise you that you have no idea how low of an RPM your bike will lug. And everybody starts slipping their clutch way before it ever need to. Mm-hmm. And then the motor revs up and then they start wearing their clutch out and then the heats the motor up. But if you just start trusting the torque and lugging, and here's the biggest advantage you get that you don't even know when you do this, is that less rotational mass. When you start revving your motor, and this is something that the physicist should have picked up on and started talking about it, that when you start revving the motor, it becomes too stable, and it no longer, it wants to go straight. It doesn't want to turn. It gains weight. So if you want to make your bike feel heavier, rev it.
Yeah, there you
go. They spend more money on, and this is the thing about like factory motocross bikes, factory race bikes. They spend more money putting very light parts in the spinning parts, so that doesn't happen. So those guys can rev them.
So they can rev them, yeah. But
they rebuild them all the time too.
Yeah.
But this whole thing about like just rev it. It's not a. You should be able to rev it when you need to, and you should lug it when you need to. And I promise you should probably spend more time learning how to lug it, and trust the torque of the motorcycle. It's not gonna hurt anything, and unless you just constantly lug it. Remember Mojave Bob?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you still around?
I don't know.
Anyway, he lugged things forever. He just lugged and lugged and lugged, and like at that point, yeah, it becomes bad not because he's wearing stuff out, because he's building up so much carbon. And he was running 927, by the way.
I was gonna say that stuff's pretty good at when you don't clean it out.
Use the whole. The reason they give you the whole power band is so you can use the whole damn power band. There's not just one way to ride either or, and I feel, especially when we're talking about off-road, when you're talking about traction compromise positions, that RPM becomes your enemy most of the time, because people just use it as a crutch, and they just gas it, and then all of a sudden they're trying to control two things, which is the bike and the clutch, and then when they start losing control, they lose control of the clutch, then they got all that power that they didn't want, and then it goes.
Larry.
Goes
full Larry on you.
Yeah. So, I like I said, doesn't, and then I think even Jay brought up it. He did a chain lube shootout, and oil.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it probably does. It's like, it's okay. I would use something else.
Yeah, I would.
But I just want to feel good about my bike, so I want to put chain lube on it. Makes me feel good.
All right. Okay, this is from Jim Garbus.
Utah Desert Racer says the dude looks like a serial killer.
Would that be four time 9 whatever?
But what do I look like? Yeah, Fort 9.
Fort
Yeah.
9. Okay.
Do Hank's first.
Do Hank?
Yeah. Do Scott prospects fit over glasses?
Oh.
That's from Jim Garbus.
Jim Garbus.
Oh, yeah.
Do Scott prospects fit over glasses? I wear Scott prospects, and I feel like I'm going to have to find that out.
I was actually, they make a special OTG goggle.
I was going to say,
they think they have forever, but the Prospect is a big frame.
It is, yeah.
And it's one of the bigger ones. Climb also has a goggle. It's a big frame. Climb and Scott, both sponsors of the show. I don't wear glasses, so I can't answer that question, but I think some of the OTG goggles also have a little cutouts kind of on the side.
They must have something over there.
It's more open, so that the frames of the goggles, the arms that go back over your ears, we'll do that. So, but I don't know that they have a prospect over the goggles. Scott goggles. I can Google it for you right now.
Okay.
I'll do anything for people on the show.
Should I read the next one while you figure that out?
Yeah.
Or? Hi, this is from Bob. I just watched the show on YouTube. Nice. I couldn't make it live, though. Thanks for entering my bike in the contest. Solid entries for sure. I'm a huge Dirt Bike TV channel fan. However, my bike is not a Jay Clark creation. All done by me.
Right. So
Anyway, keep up the great work. I don't know.
So here's the thing. So he was in Rooster Ender last week, and his bike had Dirt Bike TV on there, and I thought, and it was so well done. I thought it was a bike that Jay Clark built.
Is that Dirt Bike TV?
Jay Clark has Dirt Bike TV. He was Wiseco Jay, and he was Dunlop Jay, and he was like Pivot Works Jay. He was the pimp for all the products to the magazine guys. Really good guy. But anyways, he and so this guy actually reached out to say that wasn't a bike he bought from Jay, because Jay does a lot of project bikes. He'll build them, shop them around to the magazines. Bike comes back, then he'll sell it. And I thought it was just one of those, but no, he actually built his own bike.
And good
so,
on you, Bob.
So I offered to and then it was funny because I noticed he has like an Alpine Stars logo as his avatar. You know, when in his email and things, and just different. I'm like, here, let me send you some dirt bike test art. see if that pops up in the thing. So he wasn't the one that was looking to get stickers or a T-shirt, was he?
No, he posted in.
No.
Oh, you posted in where? Rooster Endo.
Last week.
Yeah.
Oh
last
yeah.
week.
No, but I think I thought there was somebody else that wanted to. I think there might be a question there because I clipped it and stuff. I am not seeing a prospect over the glasses for you there. Motorsports, off-road, motocross goggles. Yeah, I'm seeing there is an over the OTG.
But not a prospect.
There's a lot of different prospects.
Are you tired of hitting that little white ball around, pretending to be interested in what your buddies?
What is that?
My bad.
What?
It didn't play through the thing, but it's just in our.
Okay.
Oh, it was in our ears?
Yeah.
Oh, was that a spam caller?
No, it was a YouTube video.
A YouTube video. Oh, you got to be careful because you heard about Matt let somebody in the chat, the chat bot. Yeah, Willie. Yeah, something like that. Okay, next question.
Should we do the Logan Says This?
Oh no, that's something for Logan. I'll give him that later.
Okay, next question.
Yeah, next question.
From Bill. Jimmy, what do you know about the new auto clutch by Recluse, the new EXP disc?
So I didn't know anything about it.
Oh.
There's a EXP 4.0. Didn't know anything about it. So they basically improved the EXP disc, and what they've done is instead of having the Teflon pads, they have a roller. So the wedge now has a paint roller, like a large roller, but it's made out of different materials.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of research into it. I talked to them. Got one coming.
Yeah.
So what has happened is that especially the KTM, the Austrian two-strokes, have slowed down the rotation of their clutch. They've slowed the clutch speed down through the primary gear. And because of that, it makes it difficult to get the engagement right. You have to start running heavier wedges, and so the stiction inside of the EXP disc, which is kind of being pressed on, it's hard to get it to roll. So they used to have wedges that had ball bearings, 3 little ball bearings into it, but those kind of wore the plate. Then they went to this Teflon pad, which I get 500 hours out of pretty hard use, and so this is a whole new system that's going to make it should engage freer, easier. The part can be made heavier because that roller in there, so they can use different materials in that, and then make the wedges heavier as they need to be, and then run lighter springs. And so there's a lot of interesting stuff to it. So I will go ahead and I'm going to be testing one real soon, so I can, because I can't tell you how it really works. There and believe it or not, there could be some disadvantages to this, because I tested in the old days the ones that had the ball bearings on it. We tested ones that were ball bearings / Teflon sliders, and we actually tested one that had, instead of 3 ball bearings, 5 ball bearings. And there was a point where they got too slippery. They actually moved like they were too. It would engage too quick and actually stall the bike, and then it would freewheel too easy. Disengage too quick. So there was a point. There there that. I mean, it's the Recluse clutch is an amazing thing, and it's amazing how much time that they've put into getting the weights right and the materials inside there so they last, all these kinds of things. So that's what I know about that. But I didn't know anything about it, but I guess it's only like a week old. So
Yeah.
So I also contacted them and said, hey, maybe you want to tell people about it. I know a guy that's a fan of those clutches. Motor Design, Moto Sport Zzz, says Moto Design and metallurgy is so advanced you can bounce it off the rev limiter or lug it to where you can count the RPM. Designed to run in those parameters. Fun. Used as desired. I agree. Totally agree. And what's our next one?
Is that a question?
I don't know. You got to read it.
Okay, I think a good topic for the show would be to cover all aspects of clutches. The clutch itself, OEM, DDS, auto clutches, torque drive, and then the controls. OEM cable, OEM hydro. Clake and 3 different models they offer. Different aftermarket control levers along with the left-hand rear brake. What do you think? And what clutch setup is different are for the different riding applications? Of all the controls on our bikes, the clutch is probably the most important and the most misused. I think it would be a good discussion. Also, do you guys drink as much as when you ride as you do on your show? If so, I want to party with you all.
Okay.
Some of us do.
So some of us don't. No, you don't want to ride with me. No. No, it's agreed, right, Logan? When do you want to come out and go riding again?
Soon. The dirt looks great.
Yeah, it's a little mixed today, but so that was the same guy. He sent me back an email when I said I'd look into it. So he wants the end all do all kind of clutch, and then clutch we'll call it clutch override systems, clutch replacement systems, comparison. And
for what they work for, like is a cable clutch ever better than a hydro clutch?
Yeah. So that would cost maybe 30K. You got it?
Shit, never mind.
30K, I could do that for you.
300.
I mean, if you really want it done properly, like a real solid evaluation, but I've used all those different things, pretty much almost every single ones of those different things in different times. Run the same bike with multiple different systems, whether it was springs to DDS clutches to a Recluse, to the manual, to hydraulic, to cable, to blah blah blah. Stock clutches are pretty darn good. I've also got to pick my worst bike.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Remind me
Break.
right after the break. That's what I'll do. I almost thought I had it, and then I changed my mind again. So the clutch thing is, stock clutches, like I said, are really good. When you start getting into this clake stuff, and that's a clutch brake combination lever. So imagine this. You pull on this lever, and in the beginning it disengages your clutch, and if you pull it farther, it activates your rear brake. Have you ever seen this before?
No, I thought he misspelled something when he said clake.
No, there's a guy in Australia that makes them, and it looks like there's 3 reservoirs and there's like 18 different adjustment screws. It's pretty complicated, and we've had a few people bring them out to the class, and so I've ridden bikes with them before, and I bet if you practiced with it and got used to it, it could be pretty cool. But what I know, and we talked about this just earlier, it's like with the RPM and stuff, people lose control of their clutch. So now all of a sudden that lever's doing two things, and you start you start having to muscle the bike or something like that, and you disengage your clutch and then activate the brake because all you wanted to do to disengage your clutch, but then you lost it. And guess what? While you did that, you lost all your momentum now, and then your throttle twists a little bit farther because you're out of balance and you hung on the handlebar, and then you released it, and all of a sudden you get another boost. Double the.
I can see that.
Double the. I've never seen it before. I've never seen anybody do what I just described. The Recluse has advantages and disadvantages, and there's, all these different things. A diaphragm spring has some big advantages. That's why a lot of companies are going to it now. And there's some disadvantages to it as well. They're a little bit finicky on different things. So yeah, stock clutches are pretty darn good these days, especially.
I just smoked one in my KTM.
What?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
No, man, it was the reservoir's fault. The back check.
The reservoir.
Yeah, the back check or whatever you call it, the back bleed valve was somehow got something stuck in it. So it was kind of always when you let the clutch out.
Oh, you sure it wasn't? It wasn't that the thing was screwed in all the way so that it couldn't release the pressure.
What thing?
The adjustment.
Down on the slave cylinder?
No, on the lever, at the lever.
Oh, so, no, it was definitely not.
Okay, so I've seen people.
I took the whole slave cylinder off of there and put it in biceps, and you couldn't get it to go back.
Oh, okay.
I mean, actually, I put it in a C-clamp, but.
Right.
So what would happen was, and when it wouldn't do it all, you'd clutch, in, out,
yeah.
And then it would just hydrolock, basically.
There's nothing, there's not a check valve or anything in there.
I don't. Yeah, all I did was I took it off out of my buddy micro whatever, put it in the ultrasonic.
Clean it.
Ultrasonicked it. I replaced all the fluid. Had to put a new clutch in it because it smoked the clutch.
Right.
Because it wasn't.
Okay.
It was like it was being feathered.
Okay, so I've seen him cock a little bit, get a little bit crooked, and then lock that way.
That might have been it too. I rebuilt the whole thing. So.
Oh, so you rebuilt it before this happened?
No. I had when it happened. I had a micro, or whatever you call it,
ultrasonic.
Thank you. I don't know. I can't think of that right now. And rebuilt at the same time.
Okay.
Because it would work sometimes. You let off the clutch, and then sometimes, and I'd sit there with a C clamp. You could not push that slave cylinder back. It would not allow fluid to go backwards into it.
And there's no way that the lever up at the handlebar was pressed in a little bit somehow.
Nope.
Okay,
I double checked all that.
Yeah, because I've seen that before where it's up there.
I think you can get a rock behind it and make that happen.
Well, like most time people have hand guards, and their hand guard does it. Their hand guard just holds it in far enough so that it won't release the pressure.
I double checked all that and had no hand guards on it, and had the slave cylinder off of it 50 times because it would come and go. It had to have a little something in there. I don't know.
That could
it would come and go.
Yeah, I've
never. I mean, it's bike's only a year and a half old or something.
Right. I've heard of this happening before, but.
Apparently that's first for me.
I haven't experienced it myself.
Yeah.
Okay. We have any new questions that have popped up in the chat? Nothing. We're into it for an hour, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick little
tequila break.
Tequila break. Yeah, we'll come back with our tequila tonight. The Inquieto. Yeah, Inquieto tequila reposado. Okay, Logan.
The defending champion. The all-new Yamaha YZ450F.
What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you'll know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
And we are back, and Logan pushed the button at the right time.
Bam.
So the question from last week that I waffled on was the worst bike ever. And I'm still, all week I thought about this. I kept, while I was riding, when I have my most clairvoyant thoughts, I was thinking about it. And, oh, good, it just crossed my mind again. Because there's a lot of them I was going to go with. There was the Suzuki RMX, like the 2005 or 6 RMX 450, because it came super corked up, and I asked them what it, and they said it's a race bike, and then I'm saying, okay, well, if it's a race bike, then how come it's corked up? Well, you got to uncork it, but we can't tell you to do that. And it had super gnarly motocross suspension. I mean, really stiff suspension, which today wasn't good. So that was one of my things, but I thought, no, you know what? The bike actually, it's like a lot of bikes. You monkey with it, and you can make it really good. But so I know that the bikes I like the least, I spend the most time riding, and it's because I want to fix them. I want to find out. Well, I want to find out if they're fixable, or if they can be, made to work. And probably the bike I spent quite possibly the most time on was the last Christini all-wheel drive 450 that we had. And I have to paraphrase this by saying I own a Christini. I have a Honda 250 conversion Christini. I like the technology. I like the way it works and everything. But it was built on a Asian built, like we'll say Chinese, something maybe even worse, Honda 450X knockoff. And that bike, it had like probably some of the worst fuel injection, because it kind of came emissions compliant because it was street legal, and it had some of the worst fuel injection ever. And I spent more time riding that thing and more time trying different stuff. And I mean, to the point where we were getting, because I was helping Steve develop it a little bit more, we were getting the programs and going inside and rewriting the ECUs, and then we got a whole new updated system, and then I don't know what happened next. The ignition went out. I don't know. The ignition went out, and then and I never had any problems with the all-wheel drive system. That was tight. Like that was all good. It was just I just wanted to just take the engine out and put a Honda 450 engine in it, or just somehow drop the, because it's all kind of real similar. Oh, I wanted, so that bike. It pains me to think of how good that thing could have been, but how much it wasn't, and how much work it took. We actually had a couple of viewers that were part of this podcast early on that actually own those things and went on to get them to work pretty good. But it was the fuel injection was just so antiquated. It was horrible. So maybe that's my least favorite bike, Christini 450, and they have the new fuel injection in it now, so it's much better. It's not like the old one. And Josh Case has an ATK. The ATK crossed my mind. A couple different ones, like the old 2-strokes that had the Can-Am, the Rotax Can-Am motors in them. But yeah, I didn't want to go back so old and so weird, or what. Even though Christini's is kind of a weird one, but it's not really a weird one. Pretty good.
Yeah, they're still out there.
Yeah. What do you we closing? Turn the mics on or off, Logan? There, we're all good. It's all working. Yeah, and then I rode the ATK when they had the single-sided frame. ATK came out for the single-sided frame at one point. I actually raced it in a National Hare and Hound up in Utah. I think I managed the top 10 of the thing. I wasn't even really racing that much at the time, but yeah, the ATK made some interesting bikes. I don't think they were I rode a lot of weird stuff, and they all have their niceties. I rode my old Husaberg this weekend.
I see that thing.
Went up riding up in the mountains, and I forgot how spoiled we have become with electric starts that always start. That work, that don't drain the battery. This thing, it takes an act of God to spin that 650 motor over. I mean, it takes a lot of power. And so you get probably 20 rotations on a brand new good battery before it sucks down. So the starter is sort of like a starter assist. You just pull the left side kickstarter out and just go ahead and give it a kick. At the same time, you just push the button. You're going to save yourself. And the charging system on that thing it's just not charging the battery. It just can't.
Just charge a watch battery.
Yeah, barely. It shows it's putting out some voltage, but it's just not. It just doesn't charge it. And then so we're riding, and I've got that thing, or whoever owned it before me has that thing. It's a Del Ordo. Has it jetted so good. It's really nice, smooth, buttery. Thing makes just a ton of torque. There's that earthquake in California. It was as a result of the Husaberg. It was moving the mountains. It shifted the mountains I was riding on a little bit, and it just kind of jam packed it into Ojai, and that's what happened down there. But so it stalled a couple times. We were riding some really technical things. I thought we were going to go hill climbing out in the wet desert, but we didn't. We ended up in tight technical trails, and I stalled it a couple times in this rocky section. And guess what?
There you sat.
The battery was done. And before that, and the other thing is it needs a cooling fan, and it just runs hot. Something that makes that much power has to run hot. Even in the cool weather, it was running hot. And so it was putting so much pressure that it wasn't actually blowing it out the radiator. It was blowing it out the weep hole between the water pump. So through the seal. Yeah. And it also was putting some water into the engine cases. It was going past the seal because there's a lot of pressure in there. What this thing did was it put enough water so the oil went milky, right?
Oh boy.
And that happens. It's normal. But and then it got hot, and this thing has, the breather tube out of the top of the engine, the crankcase breather essentially. Yep. And I think on the Husaberg it has to come up, and the air to get out there has to go through the center of the cam, and then out through the overflow, I believe. Oh boy. And then it goes into a giant funnel. Like it goes out, instead of just a hose that goes out, it goes into a big funnel that goes up into the bottom of the airbox, which is in the frame. Everybody's confused about this now. Husaberg has.
Oh, you got to see where the air filter is.
The air filter is on the frame backbone. It's where it should be.
Yeah, sure.
Should be on the frame backbone. So this thing, and the idea is that it'll spray up there, but since it loses all of its velocity, the oil will kind of pool up and drop back down. But now the oil's probably hot enough to boil water, and now there's a lot of water. There's enough water in there that it's not only shooting oil, but there's like a lot of water, and it gets out in that cool area and condenses, and then it drops in there, and it runs right down the frame, right into the carburetor. And so the bike was very reluctant to start because there was a lot of water that had puddled up on the back of the damn carburetor. And so we proceeded to kick and kick and kick, and then we ended up to go ahead and pull out the tow rope, and we towed it up, and I tried to bump start it down the hill. But in bump started down the hill, I must have sucked most of the water out of there, because then I got it to start again, and then I'm like, okay, I got to go, because we're in a gnarly trail. And I just went, and I quit being, like, nice. I started, like, really abusing the clutch, doing a lot of work. And I know it's hot, but we'd put water in. I knew there was still a little bit of water in it. I'm like, I guess got it. So we had this, like, gnarly hill. It was a hill, all rocks, and I was working it. And I got 9/10 of the way up there, and it starts going, and it's just running like crap. And it was hot, and it was steaming down there and steaming out of the radiator. And then it's not running. And then when the clouds of your own exhaust smoke
catch you,
come by, because it's burning oil that much. There's that much oil burning. I'm going, I just blew up my damn. I've said it on the show. I bought this bike because I wanted to ride it. I know it's going to blow up. I know that this thing is a short life. It's got a short fuse. I thought, well, I just did it. Okay, now I got to figure out. Maybe I'll just cement it into the ground here. And so I wasn't really that upset. I'm just like, okay, this is where I. And I started thinking. And I'm telling you that this is where all these years of experience and testing come in hand. I was thinking, I remember when we used to ride the KTM RFS motors down long downhills. All the oil pools up on the front part of the motor, drags it up the cam, and then it starts pumping out the overflow, which used to go into the airbox. And you'd be going down these downhills, and your bike would start smoking like crazy because it's blowing oil straight in the back of the carburetor, which is going into the motor. So all of a sudden you're mixing it 5 to 1. A lot. There's a lot of oil going in there. And I'm like, I thought about this. I'm like, so sure enough, popped the seat off, took the air filter off. 2 screws. I'm looking down the air filter, and there's a giant puddle of oil covering up the little weep holes for the air bleeds on the bottom. There was that much oil down in there. And then water. There was steam coming up out of the... And remember how I said it was milky?
Yeah.
It was no longer milky.
Oh,
the oil was black because it was so hot that it steamed off all of the water.
The milky stuff will go high.
And all the water is now pumped into the... So these Husaberg guys are geniuses. They know how to self-clean the oil by getting the motor to run so damn hot. So anyways, dabbed it, cleaned it up, stuck a rag down there and cleaned all the oil out of there. Fired up like third kick. Now I'm kicking left side kick. Battery's not doing
Still
good.
not doing its thing.
And let her eat. Got me back. So no problems except.
By no problems, you mean all those problems?
All those problems. Yeah, it made for an interesting ride.
Yeah.
So I got. Hey, everybody, if you've been watching the show for a long time, remember when Logan was co-hosting? Logan was famously, I wanted a co-host that didn't talk. And so we used to make him read the questions, which had its own challenges, mostly based on your spelling. And by your I mean your listeners' spelling, and as you write stuff in. So we would always, we'd sound out words and things like this. And Logan's almost ready to graduate high school now. Yep. You're reading at let's say 9th grade level or something like that. Is that pretty close? Which is better than most. So I have this thing, and it's going to give me a chance to pour a little tequila. But it says, "Logan, say this," and I want you to just read it. Just read it.
I've got it right here.
Oh, you got it right there?
Yeah.
Were you practicing over there?
No.
Oh, why would you do that? Right?
No.
Okay, go ahead. Read it.
Dirt bike test, DBT, dirt bike review, motocross, supercross, off-road, desert racing, GNCC, enduro, dual sport, ADV riding, ADV bikes, dual sport riding, motorcycle review, KTM, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Husqvarna, Gas, Honda, Suzuki, Beta, Moto, MX, SX, Tech Tips, Dirt Bike Tech Tips, Dirt Bike Maintenance Tips.
Sound like a robot, Logan. That's gonna make
Oh.
this show a whole lot better. Those are hashtags that Trevor came up with. That's what we need to put on all of our Instagram posts and things.
We used to put these in the.
Yeah. Well, now you said it, and the robots, the robots that are out there will pick that up. That almost sounded like you practiced. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's come a long way, huh?
You said motorcycle things. You pronounced them
That's
correctly.
because I'm homeschooling him now.
Oh, with a whip.
Nah, he's homeschooled now.
Yeah, homeschool.
Well, I did make half of the list,
Yeah.
and then the other half is.
Oh, you made half that list
Well.
back in the day.
Yeah, there was an old thing where all the brands, the tech tips, the dirt bike tests, all
Right.
those were in it.
Right on. Okay, so it seems like we have some. Bill O'Neill says, "Listen to this, Logan. You've been a good mentor for Logan. Logan's the man."
Ooh-ah.
Yeah. Yep. Josh K. And you see that? You can't see it. Actually, since your name's Jimmy, I'll ask you this question. Hey, Jimmy, because I'm sure he wants to talk to Jimmy.
Sure.
Any down and dirty solutions to seal a small oil leak on the bottom of a case? Honda Bond, silicone, etc. I'd rather not split the cases, as it has been very limited miles on it, along with the parts availability due to age.
Well, first off, anytime it comes to glue, I'm a two-part guy, so epoxy of some sort. But
Yep.
which one? Man, I bet you they get pretty specific epoxies, aluminums and wets and dries, and so search that out. But if it would say have to be two-part, and then something very specific for aluminum cases.
Yeah, I mean,
Something that bonds to aluminum well.
in all honesty, I would clean it really good and just use like an oil, a oil resistant silicone, and like like an RTV or something like that. There's ones that are better with heat. Since it's an engine, I would get like a heat/oil, like a valve cover, a valve cover type stuff, and just if it, like I said, if it's on the center cases and it's not, doesn't matter what it looks like, just kind of put a nice big.
He said it's
Flop.
just seeping, right?
Yeah, it's just seeping. As long as if it's pressure, if it's a lot of pressure behind it, that might not be the best thing. Then I would go with like what Jimmy's talking about, some sort of stuff. But if you ever do have to split the cases, sometimes you can chip
Yeah,
that
my
stuff
stuff's
off.
going to be hard to get off of there. That's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, if you do it right, it should be nearly impossible to get off. But I've been able to chisel stuff off. Like I've smashed cases before, and then I've chiseled the JB weld, which is what we would always use, or that quick steel. I'd chisel that off and then be able to have it welded or whatever.
Been fixing holes in Bosma jet ski all summer, so that's all I've been doing. So I'm an epoxy kind of guy.
Epoxies. So. Okay, the Steven, the Stanton, the tequila of choice night is Inquieto. I haven't had mine yet. This is
Bueno.
It's Bueno. Yeah, this I
Really
picked this
good.
up last time I was down in Mexico because you can't get this here.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it's not a bad little hole there.
She's a good one. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. We aim to please around here. Okay, we have other questions on that form.
On this form? Mm-hmm. Hey, we value your work and time. We are looking for a good partner who can work with us a long time. I have 800 plus clients, and maybe I have a lot of orders for you, but this time I can give you an order. Please give the price of the general article with the do follow link. I look forward to hearing from you.
How much? Think 10,000? Sound like a good number?
He's got 800 clients.
800 clients? Yeah. See, I don't just do it to you, Logan. Logan actually.
That computer didn't even put a signature on it.
I know.
Weird.
Logan was warning us in the break. He goes, "Hey, I think that next question is spam."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Jimmy, I just wanted you to know how much I value your podcast and wisdom. My buddies all hate me now when they start their shit about needing more power. Ah, good. I ask, how far are you turning it? I give you all the credit, though. Hope this guy took a class and learns a lot about that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wait, I'm not quite done.
Oh.
When you get new merch, I will support you, man. Not looking for anything for free. Where and how can I buy those HRC looking DBT stickers? They really pop out well. They are kind of cool.
So yeah, that's Sid, right?
That's Sid.
Sid. Yeah. Thanks, Sid. I really appreciate that. So, The stickers, I'm going to throw those in. I will throw some of those in with the T-shirts when we get those. Speaking of that,
T-shirts again.
we're making T-shirts.
Yeah, let's do it.
The Tech Talk Taco Tuesday T-shirt. I almost got the form done last week, and then it rained, and I went riding. So that
Who could blame you?
Yeah, there's I think you got to block that one as a spam, there, Logan. I don't know if you can do it on that. You have to do it through something else. You better tell Matt. Got it. His friends are back.
Well, that doesn't seem like the dude knows something.
No, he's a troll.
He's still a troll.
He's a trolling. Yeah, he's a good four.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
he's a
yeah,
four-stroke troller.
Yeah.
So, what is Chris? For what it's worth, my quick and small leak adhesive is Seal All from AutoZone. Good around gasoline and modest temperatures. There we go.
Huh.
Seal All will for Josh. So
Okay.
and then Beam Echo says, I've diverted the breather hose out of the airbox a couple of times. One with a filter on the end so it can't really suck anything back up, and one without their filter. Have you seen any reason not to do that? So no, on most race bikes they vent to atmosphere. Like the crankcase breather vents out to atmosphere. Depending on the conditions, I have seen them put it in a air filter, have an air filter. Like Canon used to have a special crankcase breather filter. It was this little pod that they used to put on there. So I know a lot of times when bikes were racing in the desert with the silt and stuff like that, they were worried about it. I honestly have never seen the dirt on an open, and a lot of my KTM RFS bikes have open to atmosphere crankcase breathers that really run right down along the back of the cylinder, and they terminate right above the clutch slave unit. Is where we always used to tie them. And we always used to
Oil the chain a little bit.
Yeah, it could. They never put that much out. But we always used to cut the hose at an angle instead of flat. We always cut it at an angle, and we clipped it a second time so that it couldn't actually cause like a suction on it.
Sliced it.
So I haven't had any problems with that. And you want to make the hose long. You want to give it a long run. You don't want it to just be really, really short. You want to give it some room.
Go up high.
And so why I don't do this on the Husaberg? Good question. But I used to do it on all the KTM RFS bikes for that very reason. If you'd ride down long downhills, it would want to start pumping the oil out of the engine into the airbox, which wasn't.
Logan ran it at one time on his KLX 110, right into the oil fill. Because he had about a 1/4-inch ring gap on that bike.
Oh, so to just blow a ton out?
Yeah, it kept it right there. He just kind of built a little recycle station there.
So it plugged in. It plugged into the oil. So it recirculated.
He took off the cap.
Oh.
Off the oil fill cap.
And then unplugged it.
No, and ran the thing because it was just pouring oil out of it. Because
Oh.
it literally had a ring gap like 3/16.
Yeah.
You don't need micrometers for it. no feeler gauges. And I come home and I see him out riding. And I see it. His boots covered in oil and shit. And he's got it all taped in the hole.
Okay, yeah.
He's like 8 years old or something. I don't know. It was pretty sweet.
But you decided that you didn't
remember
want
this?
you didn't want to spill it out on the ground. You just wanted to keep.
Well,
you wanted
it
to
would only
keep
run
riding.
it would lose all the oil in 5 minutes.
Oh,
without
wow.
the system. It literally had so much blow by.
Because I'm saying at that point
motor
it's,
was
it's no
rushed,
longer
but-
at that point it's no longer a breather.
No. It was a catch can.
It is a catch can. Yeah.
You don't remember doing that?
Because
That was pretty cool.
okay, so the when we used to run the XR 600s, the breather on those ones was above the transmission. There was a breather, and they used to have a little catch can in there. So it was a hose into a chamber, so the oil could catch and drip back down into the motor. And I think even the one out of the valve cover went into that also, so it would all it would suck the oil back in essentially. I don't know if it would actually suck it in. I think it would drain back in before it could blow it all out. So suck the oil back.
Who said that?
Yeah. What's that noise coming from?
I'm trying to get rid of that dude.
Oh, you're trying to get rid of that dude?
Yeah.
He likes suction. I get him.
Yeah.
All right.
Next question.
Yeah, here's a cool one, I think. I'm coming off an 08 990 Adventure S. Agonizing over whether you get an Africa Twin or a Tenere. Help. This is from Tim Paul. BDR type riding, very aggressive off-road. Often super slab it to the BDR route. What's the word, Tenere or Twin? I'm on my second 990, so it's time to move on to the future. I'm telling that I've gone from the 950 to a Tenere, but I'm looking for some expert opinion.
So the question you're asking, and it's hard to judge because some of the descriptions you did when you said super aggressive and then BDR.
Yeah.
So
basically, I think he meant just barely getting to the.
Right. When you're talking to like dirt bike riders, like guys that grew up riding dirt, and a BDR is just it's not super aggressive. It's I mean, but for an adventure guy, that's super aggressive.
Yeah,
so we just kind of so if you say you want a bike to do the BDR, the question is, and you're coming off the KTM 990, which is the same as the 950 platform, is do you want more bike or less bike?
Oh, that would have been
that's
what do you think the KTM's besides being older?
The KTM is like a little bit more than the Tenere. The Tenere will do a little bit more power, a little bit more weight, very similar suspension, believe it or not. Then you go to Tenere, you're gonna get a lighter, more nimble, just more agile.
Better off road than the 990.
Better traction. So I actually think that the Tenere is quicker because it's lighter and gets better traction than the KTM. It's not more powerful. It's just quicker. The Africa Twin is more of everything than the 990 to a certain extent. More weight, a little bit more power, maybe not as quick because it kind of gets heavier and a little bit more refined. And the Tenere is minimalist. In other words, there's not traction control and buttons and knobs and different things. The Africa Twin is the complete opposite of that. And the 950 was before KTM went to all of that with their, on the 1090 they started adding some stuff, and now on the 890 and 790 platforms and 1290s they have modes galore. So the good thing is there's a lot of choices, but the question there is, do you want more motorcycle or less motorcycle? Right. And it's really easy. Tenere is less, and the Honda is more.
Yeah, for me the question would be between the Tenere and the 990. Yeah, I've always wanted a 990. I never had one.
Right. And I am going to in the near future do a comparison between my KTM 950 and my Tenere, because I was really surprised at how similar those bikes are, and it shows how good the KTM was. And how there's still a lot of people that will agree with me that was the best adventure bike KTM ever made, because it was just simple and plain, and it's what the Tenere is now. And
yeah, I like that about the Tenere. I've ridden a Twin. I didn't care for it too much off road, but
yeah, and when you start getting to the, like I said, the in BDRs, and I'm not downplaying them because there's some tough sections and stuff like that. I think that the only time you're really suffering is when you're doing the slabs, but every place else, that Tenere is just such an awesome bike on those types of routes. And then you can do the more advanced routes, or if you see something off to the side that looks a little bit more interesting, a little more inclined to do it than if you were on some 1100, 1200, a bigger bike. So that should answer that. So Yamaha does sponsor the show. Tenere. Get the new Tenere. It has a more flashy dashboard.
They got it. They updated.
They updated the dashboard. It does some more things. I don't know.
I still want one of those.
I wanted them to put larger foot pegs on it, but that's what they make Fasst Company Flex Impact pegs for.
Yeah, I'm sure they make it for that, huh?
They do.
Okay, JP331 on a CRF 250L. My brother has one. First time he dropped it, the entire headlight bent and broke the turn signal. It's a dirt bike with half-hearted attempt of being a tour bike, except tons of broken plastic if you trail ride. Don't crash.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If you don't crash it. Logan, remember when we rode that bike around?
Yeah, it was real fun.
And what did you do?
Is that the big fairing model one?
Yeah. You didn't have a problem with things breaking off, did you?
Which one? Which bike?
The CRF 250L. Remember the one that had all the fairings, looked like the rally bike? Looked like Ricky's
I
bike?
didn't break anything off that.
I know. Why?
I didn't crash. I don't
There we go. Okay.
Well, I did crash one time.
But it's just a
Tip over.
just a tip over. Yeah. Don't crash.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, I don't think any bike with a fairing is really, is kind of designed for like dirt bikes where they're designed to pick them up and go again, right?
Yeah,
Without
it's-
shit laying there on the ground.
Yeah,
behind
it's
you.
like adventure bikes. Don't crash those either because they're expensive and they're hard to pick
Yeah, I
up.
was gonna say yeah.
Next.
Okay. Buy YouTube views 99 blah blah blah. I can't get enough of your channel. Oh baby. Keep creating magic with your content.
What? Who's this from?
Buy YouTube views .997.
Oh yeah.
Faster. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
Hit me back on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I
That's
can't,
why
you can't get enough. Or
That's why I'm an influencer.
Steven Stanton.
Send me a box and I'll open it up live on the show.
What grips you got on the Tenere? Pro grip rally grips he mentions in the video.
Yes.
Pro
Yep.
grip rally grips.
Yeah. So this is interesting. So anyways, so I mention it in the video. I talk about the grips in the video, and he takes the time. Thank you for leaving a comment. It helps our helps the views go up or whatever. Yeah. Watch the damn video. You know why I spend so much time putting those videos together? So I don't have to answer these questions. Just watch the video.
YZ450FX, Damon Forrest. I would do anything to ride that bike.
Thanks to Yamaha for supporting the show. That's Yamaha Motor USA. Follow them on the socials. They have really cool videos of their race teams. They can tell you all about the bikes, just like him. What was his name? What was the name?
Oh, that was Damon Forrest.
Damon Forrest. Yeah, you dream of riding Yamahas. That's what Damon says. He would do anything to ride that motorcycle.
Go ride them. They live up to the dream.
Yeah.
I always said so.
Yeah.
I always loved Yamaha.
What is it?
They rev your heart.
Revs your heart. Yeah. Yeah. Revs your heart so much you made a comment on the video. It was that good.
Peaceful Warrior. Kind of oxymoron right there in the name, right? Hands down, by far, the Honda CRF 500.
CR 500.
What did I say? CRF?
CRF, yeah.
Oh, I meant CR 500. I don't make a CRF 500.
Logan, you got to tell teach your dad how to read these questions a little bit better.
I can't believe I said that.
You're shaking. He was your teacher. He's your teacher in school.
I'm a homeschool teacher, man. What do you think of the CR 500?
Yeah, you're just so into saying CRF.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's fast.
We got one. We got one coming up. You're looking at it.
Yeah,
That
it
has nothing to do with that, but it leads us perfectly. It's a nice segue into the segment that everybody waits for. They at least the people that have submitted their bikes. Takamoto's Roost or Endo. So Takamoto, not affiliated with Taco Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, other than they are a fine sponsor of this show. Go to takomoto.co for all of your needs in the especially in the KTM. Getting your emissions compliant bike, or actually any KTM running better. They have all the stuff, all the doodads, a wealth of knowledge. So they have all kinds of stuff that you need, and they're going to bring you this segment. Logan, are you ready to go with this?
Yeah.
You are. Okay. Are you going to read it, or
Yeah. Oh,
or Jimmy's going to
go
read
ahead,
it?
Logan.
Okay, so you have to say which one it is, and he has to find
Does he have the? Oh yeah, he does.
He has a picture.
Oh,
That's the wrong one.
no, that's yours.
Yeah. That's not. It's not mine. Not mine. We can do that one. Go ahead and read. Who's that one from?
This one here, I'll go.
No, it's the start down there.
Oh, 2000. Oh.
Yep, that one.
Oh.
Yeah, start there. It went on the wrong page.
2005 XR 650R. Rock hardwood. Set for adventure. Every great mod except for anything done to motor. Motor stock. A Cherubi 6-gal tank, JCR triple clamp, precision concept suspension, Fastco flex bars, Scott's dampener, rear rack, street legal someplace. Almost electric shark with Baja design kit. Almost. Oh yeah. Okay, I know this bike.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that photo though. I mean, like the light is just glistening, glistening on that thing. It's in a perfectly groomed sea of
type 2
gravel. Yeah, type 2, like 3/4 inch rock there. Yeah, it looks, it's green. The greenery, amazing greenery around that.
The backdrop
just makes you want to go out and ride that bike.
I've never ridden one.
You have not.
I have not.
It's for sale. So this segment of Rooster Endo or for sale, it's this bike. I had one at one time that was exactly like this bike. I can see some stuff that the knucklehead didn't put on there. It has a Trail Tech Voyager mounted on the handlebars. It has some little bags. They're the giant loop bags made specifically for that gas tank, so you can carry the extra countershaft seal that you'll need when you're riding long distances down in Baja. Plus, you can carry your tire irons and master links and all the little stuff up there. It's not the best place because it's high, but it is convenient because you're going to have your sleeping bag and all your other stuff on the rack in the back. I see a Leo Vince exhaust, which is actually quite quiet on that motorcycle, but it still performs well. The Baja Designs electric start.
That thing's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I can see it on this picture.
Those are great when they work. Discontinued, by the way, unavailable. It's one of there's no more in the world. It probably at least has 3 more starts left in it. It's pretty good. So I'm thinking around $4,000. Oh wait, no, I mean I'm thinking this bike roos.
I'm thinking she roos.
So if you're interested in this, you just have to email me.
Cash.
Yeah, you email me, and then I think that we can talk. I know a guy that can talk about the price a little bit. Yeah, but brand new Kenda Parker DTs on it. Those are good. It was rebuilt. Like the thing has, I heard it has a lot of miles on it, but it was rebuilt, and this was one of the interesting thing about this bike is that when I rebuilt that motor, I don't know why I rebuilt it, but if I had rebuilt that motor, I've never seen so much performance come back just by throwing a piston and rings.
Really?
Into a motorcycle. but I had never seen a motorcycle eat so much sand and keep running.
And just keep on keeping on.
Just keep it on, as it was like we rode that thing across the Altar Desert like 7 or 8 times down to Puerto Penasco. I mean, the guy that owned it, Rock. Yeah, Rock rode it down to.
Is that? I forgot the guy had a name.
So that thing endos, but it's for sale.
For sale.
So yeah, that is a good bike. Do you have? Where's the CR500?
I got it right here.
I sent it to you. I sent it to Matt as well.
If it's not this one.
Oh, here it is.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think that one's been on the show before. That one as well. You're gonna have to start pull that one up and then start digging through the email and find it. It's. I just did it. I just did it this afternoon, so it'd be recent. Come on, Logan, get it together. Oh wow, another Honda.
We can do that one now.
I think we've done this one before, but it's okay. It's all Hondas tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, this is Chris Dabney.
Right?
Yep. 1998 XR250 IMS pegs tank WBE series progressive fork springs. Cannot remember the spring rakes. Maxxis IT rear, Dunlock 756 front, Pro Taper CR high bend.
I thought it was an XR400 just because I used to have that was the standard setup for my XR400 was to have a IMS tank and pegs and then an aluminum skid plate because at the time that's all you could get. But he has this bike's been on before. I messed up when I was digging through here. We're in a transition phase trying to get all this stuff. But that almost got the whole bike in the shade for the photo. So another bike that'll last forever. This one's probably sucked a lot of water when it falls over in the creek. Did you find that Honda photo yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you got it. Okay, good. So save that one for last.
Okay.
Put the other one up. That bike, ridden hard, put away wet. It roosts.
It's an XR250, man.
Yeah, it's an XR250.
That's what they're supposed to be done to, right?
If you want a bike that just lasts forever, that would be it. Like an XR2, like an XR400 is hard to kill. XR250 is impossible.
Is impossible.
Impossible to kill. Okay, our next one, Logan.
By Leon M.
Does he doesn't have it?
No.
Do you have it?
It's emailed, yeah.
Oh, it's emailed. So you're gonna read it off.
Yeah. It's a 2021 Beta 125 RR. AXP skid plate, ARC Memlon levers, removed headlight and tail light, all else is stock. Super fun bike shared by me and my 16-year-old son.
Got to get rid of that rear tire.
Oh, the stock one?
That's 6 to 8 thing. I don't know. I don't like those tires, but
Yeah, they work good when they're new.
yeah,
they
for
work
not very long though.
Yeah, they work okay once they lose the.
They got the 6 to 8 spec on
lose
them or
the edge.
whatever they are.
Man, that all that thing makes
But
me
I
want.
love that bike.
All that thing makes me want to do goes ride the 125, the E3 class in GNCCs. I want to go do that. It's been a long time since I've ridden a Beta 125, but I tell you what, the 200 is so good.
Yeah.
And that thing looks good. I wonder why it doesn't. I guess they don't come with the headlight on that one, or that's the cross.
Oh, he took it off.
Cross country. Oh, he took it off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cross country setup. Yeah, I like that bike. I think
they're great.
I think it roosts. It's pretty stock. Yeah, it's pretty stock. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's
Gotta say it's good. What does Jeff Sweeney want to know? Jimmy, you got any tricks for removing a swing arm bolt on an XR250 400? Yeah.
Loctite.
Loctite
Yeah.
for removing it?
Yeah, just remove the swing arm and the bolt doesn't have to come out.
How do you get any tricks for removing the swing arm bolt? You mean the bolt or the whole bolt? It's yet the swing arm can't come off with the bolt.
I don't know. I have no clue how to take it off. So
Oh.
I'm assuming it's bad, so add more.
Well, that's why you're not the host of this show. I was gonna just say get a punch and a drift and go. I mean, I've had some bikes that have locked the swing arm has become welded into the
I got one.
the pivots in there, and it's just it. So I think there was one that we actually put up on a hydraulic press
I've done that
and pressed.
got scared.
Yeah. Oh, it was like stretching the whole frame.
Yeah, I'm on a 77 YZ250.
Oh, wow.
My vintage bike. I don't know. It's glued, welded, whatever.
Oh, it's not coming off anymore.
No, let's just hope it never needs to.
But it still goes up and down, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I've like I said, I've put a it may have been an XR400 up onto a hydraulic press and then just got another axle or something was the same size and just started punching it down through, and I was afraid it was going to break the case. Because it started when it started pushing on it. It was obviously the lower. It was the lower. The one that was underneath, and it needed to go down. You know, it couldn't come the other direction. Although we did think about when it started pushing, and you saw the gap start forming between the swing arm and the case. So it's actually flexing
where the friction was.
Yeah. It was like we thought about actually
even think
going
of
to the
that.
other side and kind of grinding the other one off and trying to push it the other direction so it would, but it was in there. But we because it's really hard to heat up because it's so insulated by, you know, it's stuck on that bearing and that bearing is encapsulated there. But it finally just went pop, and then it moved. You know, it takes that pop. So sometimes just a nice drift and a punch and you know, but it's the shock that's going to get it, not necessarily the force at that point. You can squirt some of those bolt loosening things, some of the, you know, liquid wrench kind of stuff. If you can saturate, you know, squirt it in there, but it's tough.
Yeah, I never get anywhere with that.
I would suspect if it was really screwed up And this is just kind of me thinking about it. Now, I would actually try to drill a hole like a Zerk fitting sized hole, like in the old days you put a Zerk fitting in your swing arm. Maybe figure out where you're going to put a Zerk fitting later and drill a hole and drill down in there and try to drill
in the case itself.
Drill down through the swing arm.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, if it seizes up in the case, you can do the same thing in the case. Whatever you do, drill down and then halfway into the bolt, and then fill that up with the penetrant oil stuff, so that it can sit in there and start maybe weeping out into an area that it's a mystery. But there's lots of things like that you can do. So this bike roosts.
It does. I like the betas. Betas look so good.
They do look.
Plastic designs are Italian stuff.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
What's our
We got the beast here.
Okay, here we go.
500.
This is just titled the 500. And Jimmy, you read this?
Let's see what we got. Rooster Endo.
Okay.
Gene
Woods. Okay, so
Gene Woods' bike.
So this is if you're watching, if you've hung around this long, this bike is for sale.
It is.
Another one. It's absolutely for sale, and I know CR500s are hard to get a hold of.
Oh yeah.
So this is the way it's going to work. You want to email me. You can figure out my name at Dirt Bike Test. If you really want this thing, email me, and I'm gonna forward them over to Gene in the order I get them. So, because I don't think it's gonna last very long.
Would you say this is one of the few bikes out there that has hit the point where it's appreciating from now till forever?
Yes.
There's a handful of bikes, dirt bikes,
right,
that I say that, and the CR500 is one of them for sure. That will just appreciate if you just throw it in the whatever.
It's not like my Husaberg.
No, probably not. They don't have
I know, and they're not a CR500. No. Okay, so here we go. What do we got on it?
Completely fresh, 100 miles ago. Powder-coated rims and frame. Dunlop DOT tires, FMF pipe and spark arresters, IMS large capacity fuel tank, headlight, turn signal, brake lights, and horn. Paperwork to register for street. Fuck you racing at Las Vegas stickers. 7,500.
7,500.
From when I look at that market a lot, and that looks like a pretty clean.
I know
500.
That's a clean.
A roached one start at 5.
Yeah,
just roached.
Right, and yeah, I know Gene takes care of stuff and builds stuff that's pretty cool. That's a beast. So if you're looking for a CR500, I mean, this Roost, Endo, or for sale segment brought to you by Taco Moto. Yeah.
She roast.
I'm going to just say one thing. You do not need to ride one of those things on the street. There's nothing good about. I mean, other than you're just like, you see guys like riding their Harleys that they've done all their stuff to, and whether they're full biker clad and they're doing the biker thing, or they are, they've chromed it out and they're kind of just like wannabe look at me or something like that. Like, I look at those guys and I could just be nothing. If I saw you pull up on this thing, I just go, you're trying to be a badass. You are trying to be a badass by doing that. So you can be a badass by buying. I mean, this bike. I can't believe that there's so many people trying to sell their shit on this show. It just becomes
trying to dump their old Hondas.
Shills for this thing. Yeah, dump old Hondas. Is the XR650 going up in value?
I don't know, man. I don't.
It's probably
it has it has all the right ingredients to do it.
Yeah.
It has a cult following. There's a long list of people that swear they'll never make another bike as good as that.
Yeah.
And to them, hey, why not? Whatever.
They're not making 500 two-strokes either.
They're not making those anymore.
So, yeah. Let's see. This bike has roosted King Kenny. That's and never bet against black. How much one of those goes for? Oh, Victor. I think Victor has one too, maybe.
He's got a CR500?
Yeah, I believe he has a CR500. And Josh K says it needs a road book on it. Is this the CR500 that is doing the Transamerica Trail, Asherlito? I'm not really, I'm not sure. And then Josh wants that thing. Attention. So, let's see. Jeff Sweeney says swing arm bolt, soak it, and what did he say? I just lost it. Went off my screen.
JB.
JB Blaster. Yeah, JB Blaster is PB Blaster also.
Yeah.
In where it can go, good idea, and drilling the hole and soaking. Oh yeah, thanks. Okay, so throw that CR500 back up there quickly. One more look at that beauty. That thing's pretty cherry, especially if
like I said, Roach 500 start at $5,000. So
right. So
you're not going to get one to looking like that.
Roost or
for
endo?
2,500 more bucks, that's for sure.
That thing has to roost.
Yeah, it roosts.
It roosts.
Had a
Yeah.
kickstand on it too.
Oh
Good
yeah.
idea for a,
Yeah, it's a full legit dual sport bike. All the paperwork needed to make it street legal. So pretty good. Okay, so like I said, if you reach out to me, I can put you in touch with someone that might know something about that. It'll be gone tomorrow. Next, so if you're listening to this, you can still reach out. You know, if you're listening to this on the podcast platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Beam Echo says Roost. What stator is in that bike? On Gene's bike? I don't know.
is he thinking it's got probably got a,
I don't know if it has. It might have one of those E-line stators. No, a bigger one. I mean, I've
has it
seen the
got a
bike
headlight
before.
on it?
Yeah, I'm not sure, and I think they were able to rewind CR500s a little bit. You're able to get a little bit more out of it. So yeah. Well, now comes the time when we pick the winner of the Takamoto Roost or Endo thing. I'm just gonna say I don't like Hondas.
Too bad.
Well, there was only one bike that wasn't for sale or a rerun.
I forgot about the Beta.
It was because the former producer isn't doing his job and didn't solicit things for this. Although we probably got some, I just didn't. We didn't do it. So if you have a Rooster Endo submission, actually that's if we continue the segment and then going on to the next thing. I want to do a best. I want a picture of you and your gear.
Yeah, I like that.
And we can Rooster Endo that. You know, pictures of people in their gear. We talked about it a few shows ago, but we never really. You got to beat people over the head with these ideas to make them sink in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think with the kids, you got to do it like nicer these days in a better way. But so yeah. Leon's a winner. So
the Beta?
Yeah, the Beta.
I love it.
Yeah, I think so. Leon, reach out, and Asherlito sent a picture of his gear, and no one responded. This is we're having some lack of motivation issues with this stuff. So maybe by next week, it's going to be hard to make show 200 any better because I'm going riding. Like the dirt isn't going to unwet.
Maybe,
and then when
take a week off,
and then when
you load everybody up for it.
And when it dries up, then I can get back to business. But yeah,
People are going to be gotten.
Leon, yeah, reach out to us here. I would say send it to Matt and Jimmy at Dirt Bike Test, or Matt at Jimmy Lewis Off Road, or Jimmy at Dirt Bike Test, and we'll see about getting you sorted. A battery. what stator is in there? A battery. Okay.
All right.
Maybe it just runs off a battery. You leave everything turned off, and I mean, it's a 500. What do you need? What do you need to be worrying about a stator for? You need to be worrying about third gear hole shots. So, well, everybody, we finished all the questions up. Are we done, or is there a couple more in there?
No, I think we're good. I think that's it.
That was it. Okay,
Yeah.
we got them all. Well, hey Jimmy, thanks for coming in.
Oh, happy to do it. Felt good to see everybody.
Yeah.
Out there again.
Good to see. Good to see everybody in the chat rooms and stuff.
Thanks all.
We'll probably be back next week. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll do we did a 99.5 show.
We did.
Because we weren't ready to do 100.
Yeah.
So you never know what it's my show. I'll do whatever the hell I want. and then if I have to go
Which
out,
means this was 200 technically.
could
Off
be
that math.
Yeah. We may have missed some. There's a lot of numbers in there.
Yeah.
I'll just go over in the other room and beat myself to death, and then we won't have to worry about it anymore. So anyhow, next week is 200 perfect for a T-shirt release. Mark, I don't mean to keep you waiting. I really, really don't mean to keep you waiting on that T-shirt. But it's the T-shirt's the easy part. It's actually me getting the form so I can stay organized because I don't trust I don't trust my help these days. It makes it makes it tough. But we'll get on that. I'd like to thank the sponsors one more time. Actually, I'm not even going to say them because you know our sponsors, and support our sponsors because they support us, and they are we trust. They let us do this.
Yeah.
They don't even complain when we say stuff about other companies that are things or whatever. And God, at least I didn't pick a Yamaha as my worst bike ever.
No, that's smart.
That was a hard one. I couldn't.
Mine was going to be a Honda.
Really?
Oh, the 07 250.
Oh,
That was the dual exhaust.
oh, the 250R.
And only because there was one close to me that just would never run right, always break. Spent millions of hours, valve
train
and
problems.
carburetors, just, and then it eventually blew up, and it was like, thank God. It probably didn't make it 50 hours before finally it just grenaded.
You know what?
that
In all honesty, that's of like the modern bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
Because there was that Kawasaki Suzuki sort of at the same time
that collab
the
thing.
collab bike that
I
was
never had or was around those, but I heard they weren't good. But.
yeah, they weren't bad. They were very Kawasaki. It seemed like it was a Kawasaki more than anything else, which wasn't that bad, but so that Honda at that time, the early 254 strokes, with the exception of the Yamaha kind of just had and that was the 5-valve head. And they were going one more. They had one more than everybody else, and they were keeping those things together and working pretty good. But I was thinking back to some of the 2-strokes, but the bikes have just become so much better, even the ones that kind of were crappy. That they were actually they were good. They performed. The performance was always kind of going up. The performance is getting better and better and better. And then there's that 2008 to 2011 KTM 530. I liked the 400 of that bike, but the 530 I never really liked. So that was a kind of a weird time. There were some Huskies in there, like the Italian Huskies. There was especially the 310. Man, I like that bike. But so the global thing, when I look back, every bike that I didn't like, it had nothing to do with how they performed. It was they broke.
They broke, yeah.
And we touched on this last time. It's a maintenance. It's a maintenance and a longevity thing.
And then sometimes, like you said about your Husberg, some bikes are harder to work on than others.
Right.
If they have carburetor problems, then the carburetor is really hard to get to. That'll make you
Honda, the older Honda 450X.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, you take the shock and the subframe off to get to the carburetor. It's ridiculous. But so what really makes a bad bike is not durable. And
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm right there.
yeah, so that was
Now there any bike you got to have a Kickstarter on, or even turn on fuel petcocks or check tire pressure. So I don't like any of that stuff anymore.
right.
It's too.
Yeah, we've just gotten to the point where it's all
Let's
real
do
easy. So
mooses and a fuel injection and electric start. And that just
don't work on it right. So, anyways, again, thanks
Go
everybody,
ride.
and we're gonna clip it right here. So
Yeah.
we'll see you out in the trail.
See you on the trail, guys.